Hello, Raghavendra. How are you?
Hey Vishwa, I'm fine. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Thank you. So before we begin,
Nice.
can we start with prayer?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
So considering this topic, this is basically for students, right? I mean, the students who just completed their academics and got into the professional life, right? So their career. So what would be the best prayer? So maybe I would request you to recite that. Yeah.
Sure. I think there's a beautiful prayer for the classroom environment or the student and teacher relationship. So let's start with that. So let me know once you're ready, we'll begin.
I'm ready.
Okay, let's start. Sahana Vavatu.
Sahana
Sahanao Bhunaktu.
Sahana Vunaktu
Sah Veeryam Karavavahai.
Saha Viryam Karavavahai
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु
Tejasvinavaditamastu
मा विद्विषावहै।
Ma Vidvishavahai.
ॐ शान्तिः।
Om Shanti.
You know the
Wonderful.
meaning of this?
Yeah, meaning I can I can recollect this. Let me try that and you can correct me.
Sure. Yeah.
So
It's a
basically the it's between you know the students and the teachers, right? The association between
yeah,
teachers and students. So basically
correct,
the prayer is all about together we will make a progress, right, in right direction. Together
correct.
we will relish,
Yes,
the objective, and together we perform our studies
absolutely.
with a deep concentration, right? And
Yes,
together we'll have to have a brilliance of understanding leading to knowledge, right?
correct,
May
correct.
it should not give rise to hostility, right? Any conflicts or any
Exactly,
misunderstanding.
exactly,
So
exactly.
due to
Correct.
lack of understanding, something like that, and then we are saying finally we are saying peace, right? Om
Peace.
peace. Let there be
Yeah,
peace everywhere. So that's the
absolutely.
yeah.
That's a
Thank you.
great summarization, Vishwa. Thank you.
Thank
So let's
you.
start with what you had in mind
Yeah. So
today.
um, Raghavendra, this is part two of in continuation of our previous satsang, part one, right? So
Yeah,
in this session, we focus on more of solution perspective and describing the current situation, of course, and then more of your solutions, right? So when I say solution, generally people tend to think about executable solution. No, when I say solution, first thing is algorithm, right? What are the step by step procedure? If you are clear with the algorithm, then you can use any programming language to write a software and then build a product accordingly, right? So it is a kind of long journey, but I mean, for whoever wish to um, turn these inputs into reality, it's a long journey, but it's worth. So
absolutely.
in this session, let me just recollect about some of the points that we discussed in our previous video, right? Previous
Sure.
podcast.
Yeah. Almost like a recap.
Yeah, quick recap. Uh, for those who are seeing this for the first time, right? Maybe some of the members, they might have not seen the first part. So for their purpose, I think we can do a very quick recap, Mr. Raghavendra. So basically, artificial intelligence is today it's a buzzword. It's becoming closely, if you observe very closely, it's becoming a reality day by day, right? So
Yeah.
artificial
Yeah.
intelligence, if we need to make use of artificial intelligence, one should be a very good human being, right? Of course,
Mm.
not just relevant to artificial intelligence alone. Um, in a broad perspective, internet or technology or any of such kind of things, if you want to make use of any of these things in a right way, first thing is we have to be a good human being. Without being a good human being, things will become counterproductive, right? We will not really
Yeah.
achieve the uh,
Yeah.
purpose that what it is meant for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Actually, you said it very right. Quickly recapping similar kind of a thing, right? If you take the example from Mahabharata, right? For example, right? They had all the kinds of weaponry, right? Tools and equipments and the most powerful weaponry. But in the hands of the right people, it is used for the good of the humanity. But if it falls into the hands of the people with the not a right amount of thinking, right, it can really cause a lot of bad effects. So something very similar, switch on to the current generation. AI is a very powerful tool, and we need to really look at how to leverage it with the right intent and the right thing. So for that to develop the basic human intelligence in the right way, holistic way, is very important for you to figure out how to develop the solutions and for the real problems, as we mentioned in the last part, Vishwa.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you look at the screen, this is what the trigger of the whole discussion, right? It appears that we are identifying new problems for the ideas that have been invented instead of identifying new solutions to existing problems. So this is apparently visible across the young developers, right? Young community. When I say developers, why am I specifically calling out developers? Because it's something related to artificial intelligence that we are talking in the social context. So
Mm,
I'm referring it as developers.
mm, mm. And when you say like we are identifying new problems for the ideas that has all been invented, and I think you are going to follow up with an example as well, and context is going to come very quickly for people to understand it more realistically, right?
Absolutely. So as this particular, slide explains, today the young developers, the programmers, and the techno, experts, they are having brilliant ideas. They are having energy, passion, lot of enthusiasm. Unfortunately, they do have lot of information and knowledge at fingertips, which was not the case for the previous generation, right? Even 20 years ago, for our generation also, right? So knowledge
Yeah.
is freely available. um, at the same time, not only knowledge, even the entertainment is also freely available. So
Mm,
how far today's generation, especially the final year students, and also the students who had just finished their academics and got placed into some good jobs, how far they can
mm,
able to stay focused, right? Because it's not about completing the academics. Okay, studies are completed, we are done with the studies now. It's all about working, right? But no, when you get into a job, right, then the real education begins. That's the real world education. So
mm,
far, students have been, they were fully immersed into the tons of books, and the concepts, subject, theoretical aspects. And now, when they get into their professional life, right? When they get into the professional life, how are they going to face the real world? This is where, the foundation, whatever the steps that they take at the early stage of their career, that's going to be a game changer for their entire professional life journey. However, unfortunately, or for some cases it's fortunately, the technology itself, right? So what they're studying in first year engineering, that's not relevant in when they come to fourth year, final year of engineering, right? So it's rapidly changing. It appears that something is rapidly changing, right? This is an important point I would like to convey through this forum, right? It appears that everything is rapidly changing. What is that we should learn? How come human beings forever a learner, right? Especially in a professional life. Of course, in real life, definitely there are learning moments, whether you receive or don't receive, whether you are willingly receive, whether you don't want to willingly accept it or receive it. The experiences will shape your life, right?
Correct.
The nature will design you, right, according to your actions. But here in professional life, it's all policy driven, it's all process driven, it's all procedure driven, it's all the specific company's mission and vision driven, right? So there is no guarantee that the respective company's vision and mission, it may perfectly match with all the employees aspirations. Do you agree?
I think it's a very, very important point that you made, right? So as you are fresh out of the college, I think, Vishwa, you have come from a very premier institute like NIT, right? So you can relate to this. Fresh from college, I don't know what I want to do. And so many things are happening all around me. I have friends, I have superiors, right? Some of them ask me to do this, ask me to do that. And then I'm also inducted into the company's vision and mission statements. And also, it's a potpourri of information. Sometimes it is like overwhelming, right? So, what do you think, according to your experience, right? How should a person who is fresh from the college orient his learning process in a structured manner without really falling into something that he may or may not like in the short term or the long term? I mean, everything is learning, but how do you approach that learning? What is the mindset that you have? I think is very important, in my opinion, right? So you have this all conflicting type of task to do or performance to do, and you not know what you're going to get out of it and all that things. So I think it's important to understand the context before you really understand the content, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So you see, you take our own session, right? Our own Samvad and Satsang session as an example, right? So we don't have any marketing stuff here. We are not, making any of this content into a glittery stuff, right? This is pretty straightforward. And in fact, we are not even taking exclusive time for organizing or participating in these sessions, right? It just in time. It is just in time.
Correct. And
You
there is no pre-preparation, right? There is no script here. We are just
absolutely,
talking.
absolutely.
Yeah.
There is no script here, right? See, before the session, just 20 minutes before the session, you called me, and just we talked about how are the things and how is the weekend and so on. Then we thought, okay, let's do part 2, right? So we just jumped into this Zoom session. So
Yes.
it means, what it essentially means, what we are speaking straightly, it's coming from, it's like a raw honey, right? A raw inputs that's coming straight from our hearts and mind, right?
Correct.
So basically, you know, the question that you asked, Raghavendra, for students, right, whoever completed their education successfully and joined in, in their respective organizations, right? So how they should really plan their career, right, for the success. Is that your question?
Exactly, exactly. How should I orient it? I'm imagining myself as a freshly passed out graduate, and I'm entering the job, and my first job. I don't know what they're going to ask me to do. Maybe operations, maybe support, maybe documentation, maybe something, right? So, what is it that I should really look for? How I should orient myself so that I receive the best learning, which will help me, in my career. And that's the biggest question to almost everybody who is in this stage of life.
Yeah. So the answer lies in the part one of our session itself, Raghavendra. The answer clearly lies in our part one session, right? So see, um, in academics, right? When you are a student, you all the examples that you studied, from your books, those are all artificial examples. Those are all not natural, right? It just meant for creating some knowledge, right? Whatever the examples, assignments that you have done, it's all far from the reality, right? Of course, it is connected, but maybe 30,000 or maybe 50,000 feet above. Now, as a young professional, if you really want to make a difference, if you really want to make success in your life, in your professional life, first thing is to define what is success for you. The success for you, your definition may be different, and my definition may be different, right? For me, success may be like if I take care of because my parents, invested their time, sacrificed their, passion for my growth, for my education, and so on, right? And now, as I got a job now, right, I may wish for buying a good house, big house, and then, keep them in a comfort zone, right? My parents, right? So, then, getting into a married life, right? Having kids and taking care of their education and making them smart and successful and all that. So it's a cycle. So basically, that's a success for me. But for you, right, you have your own definition of success. Maybe you, your parents are well-to-do, and you may not really looking for such kind of, the wish list. You may be having to do like, masters in abroad, or maybe you are planning to, um, you know, get into this technology path and reach the zenith of, the technology career, become master of it, and then set up your own company and become CEO, something like that, right?
Yeah, yeah,
If
yeah.
you,
No, I think,
yeah, sorry, you can go ahead.
yeah, no. Please go ahead. All I wanted to say was, I think you're giving good examples of, success is different to different people, and that is very, very critical. So early in your career, the earlier you define what success looks like to you, you have a greater chances of taking up or roles or assignments that aligns towards the success. However, you will also see as you go forward in your journey in your professional career and life, the definition of success may also change, right? As we go forward. But let's not go too far away. Let's just look at the 0 to 5 year dimension and then see how during this podcast, what we are sharing with them really is going to help them think through in that dimension, right? What is my definition of success? How is this particular podcast is going to help me orient towards that? Yeah.
Yeah. Now let me, let me put this interesting point, right? Even though it appears that success varies person to person, right? The definition varies from person to person. But at a macro level, ultimately, the success for anybody, right? Everybody wants to live a happy life, right?
Mm.
Everybody
Mm.
wants to live a happy life, right? That's the whether they whether they write this as a success definition or they don't write it as a success definition. But ultimately, whatever the definition that they write, according to their current needs, that has an implication, underlying, message that I want to live a happy life and I want to keep my family very happy. Do you agree?
And definitely. And I think 99% of the people, the most common denominator for success definition is money.
Yeah. So, trying to be happy by the means of money, right? So,
Yeah.
earning money for happiness is what the for most of the young population, right? For them and even for us, right? We think that yes, through money we can achieve happiness, we can achieve success, and so on. And that is true. That is definitely true. Without money is nothing that you can do, right? Even to run these sessions, we need some level of investment, and whether it is a time, whether it is equipment, right? So money is
Yeah.
basic means of everything. Now the question is, if money is the goal, right, and if money is the criteria for success, then why people who has a lot of money are not happy?
I was about to come to that, and I think you rightly hit the point, right? So, so then the question to really to be asked is money a guarantee for success? And if you ask the people who have gone through, significant amount of time and experience, they will probably get
Okay,
a
so
clear
it's
answer
again
saying that that's not the only thing.
yeah, sorry to interrupt, Raghavendra. So again, right? So people may think that, okay, who said that rich people are not happy, right? People who has money, they may be happy. It's an hypothetical situation, Vishwa, right? They may say like that. But now tell me, how much money can keep a person happy?
So
Right.
yeah. So this is both in the absolute and the relative sense.
Yeah.
So like they say, roti, kapda or makan. So as
Yeah.
long as I have bread, butter,
Yeah.
clothes to wear,
Now,
and
now the question, yeah, let's take that, right? Roti, kapda, makan, right? Food, shelter, clothes, right?
yeah,
Now, how much of food, and quantify that, right? How much of food, how many rotis, how many houses, how many clothes, how many homes you need, and how many rotis you need to be happy and successful.
the more you get all these things, indigestion will happen, and there will be bad health.
Absolutely.
Mm.
So, so the question is, whether, see, it doesn't matter, Raghavendra. The definitions that we keep, the quotations that we write, and the definitions that we create, end of the day, it doesn't matter, right? It really doesn't matter, because what matters is what are you doing at your present, at this particular moment, and that leads to the next minute of your well-being. That leads to the next minute of your well-being. Minute by minute, your actions gets accumulated and convert into your destination and the destiny. So basically, you can design your destiny. But the problem here is, unfortunately, the world follows certain template. It is good following a template. However, it is important to ensure that the template is up to date, right? And the template is relevant. So the problem here is, we all tend to, like, just look at the majority of the population across the globe, Raghavendra. They, people wake up, they complete their breakfast, then they go to work, then they come back, right, and have some fun, entertainment, and then they sleep. Then again wake up. So it's a cycle across the globe.
Repeat. Yeah.
Right? When the cycle is same, when the pattern is same, why some people are going to bed with so much of stress, so much of frustration, right? And why some people are going to bed with a lot of happiness, and why some people are able to live a tension-free life, right? Basically, so why are these differences? So the starting point for everybody could be different. My starting point could be different. Your starting point could be different. Everybody's starting point could be different. But when they reach to a place, like, see, there are 30 students in a classroom. Not all 30 can get into a, great jobs, right? So each person, each student may become something else. Yes or no? Now,
absolutely.
Let us take one particular group of, students. One particular group of students who has accomplished a very good roles, very good job position in a company. Now that's a standardized for them, right? That's a platform set for them. Now, once they reach that platform, what is that they are going to do from that moment is what going to be the next destination for them. So for people who are 0 to 5 years of experience, right? What is that, how they should focus, how they should protect their future, and what should be the best artificial intelligence solutions, right, that they should, given a chance, they should focus on, right? That's something that clearly explained in part 1 itself. Now, when we explained in part 1 that these are the problems, these are the real world problems, day-to-day problems that any technology, be it artificial intelligence or blockchain, right, or edge computing, or any of
crypto,
any of the latest emerging technologies that exist, that should deal with. Now, what should be the solution, right? When we look at that, the solution part is something where the and card method that I've explained very briefly in the part 1, right? The and card method, right? Toyota management system has a beautiful concept called and card pulling the and card, right? So basically that, I think all this may leads to part 3, Raghavendra. Right? So
yeah. We are slowly trying to bring a holistic approach to how the solution is coming, and then we will, in the part 3, we will talk a little bit more on the solution side also, right?
You tell me. I think you asked me a question. I wanted it as a kind of satsang or somewhat, but yeah, somehow it's getting converted as a kind of Q&A. But let me neutralize it, and Raghavendra, let me ask you. You are from IIT, right? You are from IIT, and you did your MTech. You have very extensive experience. Now, you tell me, in your experience, right? Artificial intelligence today, right? The problems that I have identified, that we discussed in the part 1. Right? So how many of the students that you have interacted so far, how many of the young professionals that you know that they have been working with you so far, how many of them are really thinking about these solutions? And how many of their solutions are holistic? See, I may be developing an app for, avoiding the food wastage, medical wastage and all
Correct.
that. That's fine. But it's all happening in bits and pieces,
Correct.
pocket-based innovation, silo-based innovation.
Correct.
Tell me
Correct.
one solution where, it has holistic and systematically it's able to address. Experience, yeah.
Yeah, actually, so I've had a chance to talk to young graduates, especially completed their CS and kind of thing. So their orientation and thinking mostly, Vishwa, is like, okay, they finished their final year projects, right? Whatever projects they have, and if they have these latest technology projects, it's more like an expansion of a theoretical use case that they have taken and then they have implemented. So for example, right, optimizing traffic in Bangalore, for example, right? So numerous variables are taken and then kind of thing. But what is really, I feel that we need to step up is to expand this and then make sure that it is implementable and it's actually solving a part of a problem, however small it is.
Absolutely.
Take for instance even this stormwater flooding problem in Bangalore, right? And most of the cities have this problem. Constructions on stormwater drains and water levels and all. People were thinking of IoT solution where they put the devices in these stormwater drains to figure out how the water flow is happening and based on that predict and then warn, right? So this is an excellent concept, right? But have I seen implementation to the extent that it is really helping the public or the authorities? Possibly no. Maybe I am not being exposed to anything which is recently happening in that area, but this is just an example. So there is definitely capability, but I think that capability has to turn into delivering those capabilities in the real world, solving real problems.
Very good. Very good. I think you are bringing the real world problems, right? So Raghavendra, the solution approach should be something like this, right? If you have to solve using the latest technology, right, then there are two ways to look into it. One, without disturbing the current infrastructure, how do we solve the problem? Number two, how do we address the root cause itself? For example, traffic, right? For traffic, if you focus on designing some great application, great app, and coming with traveling salesman problems or some kind of great algorithms that we already have in computer science, and trying to implement using clustering techniques, right, and classification methods, Bayesian networks, right? If you are trying to use all that to solve a traffic problem, that's not going to be really effective, right? Because first thing is we need to understand why there is a traffic, why there is so much traffic. And is there anything that can be rationalized? Why, look at the people who are coming on road, right? Every day morning, 7 o'clock itself, people start, coming to the road, and everyone has got their own destination, right? Just analyze their need, the need for them to come onto the road, right? So what is the purpose of their travel? You see, when you apply for a visa to any other country, right, it's the most important thing is your purpose of visit, right? They'll ask you, the first question is, what is the purpose of, what is the agenda? Similarly, if you can ask the same question, what is the purpose for you to come to the road, right? So just imagine what kind of different answers that we get. Some people say that, no, I am just going to my relative's house. Some people will say I am going to office. Majority, they say that they are going to work. They are going to their workplace, right? Now, having technology in place, what can be delivered, right, remotely? What cannot be delivered remotely? Where is that customized implementation of solution. That's missing. Now, the second approach, as I said, there are certain things which you cannot solve, you know, you cannot solve it. I mean, you cannot change the infrastructure for that, right? For example, floods and all, right? You can't collapse all buildings now and rebuild the whole city, right?
Yeah.
So we have to find solution keeping the constraints. So that's another approach. Anyway, I think it's time up, Raghavendra.
Yeah.
So I hope it's thoughtful and refreshing for the young generation. Let's see how we can take it for part 3. Thank you so much.
Definitely. Thank you, Vishwa. See you for part 3.
Yeah.